Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about ways you can manually release your charging cable, so if you're interested, stay tuned. So everyone with the Tesla knows that when you plug in your charging cable, basically it locks in place. That way you can't take the plug out, and I'm sure it helps to keep the energy going to the car consistently. And this is done by a locking pin that's inside the charging port. There are two most common ways to unlock the charging cable when you are done charging. One is to hit the unlock button in the screen, and the other is to push the button on top of the actual plug, and then the locking pin will release and the cable will come out. But if for whatever reason the charging cable doesn't want to come out of the charging port, you've probably seen a million videos on YouTube here where basically you go into the trunk on the left side and there's an actual manual release cable you can pull that unlocks the locking pin, and then you should be able to pull the plug out. So let's take a listen real quick and listen to when you plug it in when the locking pin locks, and when you pull it out when the locking pin unlocks. So I have seen cases where basically even this method doesn't work and the plug still is stuck in the car. So if that's the case, what do you do? So in the event that the manual release cable in the trunk doesn't work, there are a couple of things you can do to get the plug out of the car. The next best thing, and you probably need a helper for this one because it's really hard to do alone. So if the locking pin is stuck and won't release, what you can do in a sense is try and reset it. And the way you do this is you basically put your full body weight on the plug, trying to push it into the charging port, and then what you do is you have your buddy pull the manual release cable, and then you push the button on the plug to release the cable that way. And keep in mind, your helper that's pulling the manual release cable in the trunk doesn't need to pull very hard. It's basically just the same as if you were normally just manually releasing it, but the person pushing the plug into the charging port needs to push very hard. So I think this type of thing tends to happen in colder weather, so basically where places where it snows, and something like this could happen, like say if it was snowing and there's like a pile of snow in front of your stall at the superchargers, and you literally can't back up far enough as far as you want to get the plug into the car, because we know that these supercharger plugs are kind of short, and that type of thing can cause this locking pin to get like stuck because the charging cable is kind of getting stretched farther than it needs to be, and there's tension on the charging cable rather than zero tension. And so that's how that's one case on how this could happen. So this is one area where it'd be nice if Tesla can improve and maybe make their cables say 3-4 feet longer. That way you don't have to back like literally into the stall to get the charger into your charging port. The longer cable would also benefit people that are towing things. So basically in this picture from SC Mountain Dad, basically he had to get creative with his trailer that he had on his Model Y, and he had to park behind the stall instead of normally back in, because the his thing he was towing was obviously too long for the plug to get there. So if they had a longer cable, he might have been able to back into the stall and plug it in rather than being kind of SOL and having to do his little creative thing to get the charger into his car. Another thing you can do is restart the car. So the theory here is when you restart the car, it resets the locking pin in the charging port, and that way when when the car is rebooted and you try the plug again with the button, it comes out. But I wouldn't hold my breath on this one. There's probably a low possibility that this is going to work. Another option is to call roadside assistance, and hopefully they can help you. But hopefully it's not going to take you too long, because as you know, there are many Teslas out here now, and so that means that roadside is going to be really busy. So hopefully when you call them, you won't have to wait too long. And if this happens to you even semi-often, I would definitely make an appointment with Tesla service to have them look at it, because maybe your locking pin or your actual charging port, there's something wrong with it. So you definitely want to check that out. Have them check that out, because obviously you use your charging port all the time. So you don't want to have to deal with this, many, many times and just be stuck in these bad situations. So hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.